There's a brand new hunting game coming soon, and it's looking like it could replace Way of the Hunter. Now that you guys have seen the trailer, let's kind of break it down. Now, there is no name or release date for this game yet, but we do know that it's going to be made by the same developers that made Way of the Hunter, which definitely makes me think that Way of the Hunter is on its way out. In the description of this trailer on their YouTube channel, it says, experience the next hunting adventure from Nine Rocks Games. New technology, new features, and vast horizons, filled with wildlife waiting to be discovered. We're excited to show you what comes next. Stay tuned, more is on the horizon. So definitely sounds like they have upgraded their graphics engine and some of the features that they'll be able to put into this hunting game, which I guess could be the reason why they are making a brand new game instead of just adding a bunch of new stuff to Way of the Hunter. I assume that this new technology is just so good they couldn't pass up the opportunity to make a brand new game using it. Now, I definitely do wish the Way of the Hunter would have got the love that it deserves because it's a fantastic game. It just never quite got the amount of content updates for longevity. And if I were to take a guess, it's probably due to the fact that it had a pretty small player base in comparison to other hunting games. I mean, even the Hunter Classic had more players at one point, which is kind of crazy considering the age of that game. Way of the Hunter just never hit the peak that a lot of people wish it would have. There was a lot of poor decisions along the way when it came to prioritizing different things in game. They continuously just added weapon after weapon after weapon when we really needed more variety with the species and the map locations. Honestly, I had a feeling that this was going to happen the second we got the most recent map in Way of the Hunter, and it had almost just exclusively reused species. I was thinking, man, it is way too early for them to be reusing species like this. It's got to be something that they did because it's much cheaper to reuse species than animate a bunch of new ones. And well, here we are, I believe a little bit over a year since COTW released, or maybe it was 2 years, dude. I can't even remember. But either way, they've announced a new game. And this also makes it so the most recent things that we learned about Way of the Hunter make a bit more sense. They're going to be adding in new species, new weapons, and a new map. And I believe we've already got the new weapon, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that. But they said they were adding, you know, one more location that was going to be a smaller location, but it was going to be free. So my guess is that that was kind of like their final goodbye for Way of the Hunter, adding in like a few more things before they go. Now, obviously, this is all speculation, but that's what I think. I think they're ending development on Way of the Hunter, and they're probably going to focus on this brand new hunting game. Although, if I'm wrong on that and one of the developers sees this, let me know, because I'd love to be able to confirm whether or not Way of the Hunter will still receive updates after this game comes out, or if this is going to essentially be the new Way of the Hunter. Okay, enough yapping. Let's actually break down the stuff that we see in the trailer. Let's start it at the very beginning and let it play, and we'll pause on anything that looks interesting. So we start things off with some ducks, you know, can't really tell what type they are, but then as it's panning down, we see this. We see a turkey. This is something that we do not have in Way of the Hunter, and this is something that we desperately need in Way of the Hunter, so it's good to see that this game is going to have turkeys in it. That already is an amazing thing that they're going to be adding into this game. And one thing I would like to point out is I really do love how the graphics look for this game. I think they're incredibly beautiful. And I'm really excited to see like how much the trailer is obviously like visually improved for the sake of the trailer, because a lot of games will do that. However, I'm really hoping that if the graphics are even half as good as what we see here, that it's going to be a pretty awesome looking game. Now let's continue and look at what else we get to see as it's going through the woods. We see what appears to be a couple of rabbits running away. Let's pause it there again. Already, I do think a lot of these animals seem to have better looking, more fluid animations than what we see in Way of the Hunter. But again, who knows how much trailer magic is being used here. But definitely cool. We got some little rabbits running across. Let's continue. And as we get through the woods a bit more, we see what appears to be a wolf. This is the only one that I'm a little bit, like, questionable on. I'm not 100% sure if I like the way that thing is looking. It almost looks like the snout is, like, bent downwards a little bit. It's a little strange looking to me, but aside from that, everything else in here looks pretty solid. Let's continue on with the trailer. And next we see what appears to be an elk. Yeah, that's an elk right there. It's kind of hard to tell, like, just how good or how bad the antlers are going to look from this view right here, because it moves by it so quickly. But that is definitely an elk right there, and like I said, it's a little bit too hard to actually see how good or bad the antlers look, because it just moves by so quickly. But hopefully they'll end up looking really good when we actually get a chance to see them in game. I think my favorite one out of all the ones that we see is the one that we're looking at right now, though, the moose. This moose looks pretty awesome, not gonna lie. I do think for my personal preferences, I do really love the way that this looks out of all the species that we see in this little trailer right here. Really liking the way these moose look. Again, the lighting is really, really pretty. I'm wondering if they're using like Unreal 5 or something on this, because I mean, that's some pretty beautiful looking lighting right there. I'm wondering if it's like Unreal 5 or if it's one of their own like in-house engines. Hard to say. Maybe it's another one. I guess we'll find out soon enough. I am definitely curious if we're going to get to see this game release in 2025 or if it's going to be like an early to mid 2026 game. Either way, it's another hunting game that we're waiting for and getting excited for, and hopefully we'll get to play soon. That brings us to 3 different hunting games that we're kind of awaiting the arrival of. We're waiting for this new game by Nine Rocks Games. We're still waiting for Ultimate Hunting after years and years. And we're also waiting for Hunting Sim 3 to see if that game's going to be better than the 2 before it. Overall, there is a lot to get excited for in the hunting game community. And I mean, on top of that, we've got an amazing Call of the Wild update coming out soon as well. So we're going to be eating good in the hunting game community. There's a lot of awesome stuff coming, a lot of new stuff coming. Excited to see how everything goes when it finally releases. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already, as well as leaving a comment down below and hitting that like button before you go. Let me know, are you excited for this new hunting game? Do you think it's going to be a Way of the Hunter replacement? Do you think it's going to be better or worse than Way of the Hunter? Let me know all your thoughts, guys. I really would appreciate it if you guys let me know how you feel, because I'm kind of excited for this. I think it's going to be cool to see what they could do in a newer engine. Definitely hoping that it'll be everything we loved about Way of the Hunter, but adding in a bunch of other stuff on top of it. That would probably be the dream. But I will talk to you all later. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!